Hi, I'm Sarah from Gibson Farms. I've had a lot of people ask me what no-dig gardening is all about, and I thought I would just do a short video. It's easier to tell you as I show you. We're here at a friend's garden that has been untouched since last year. This is pretty much what a typical garden is like. I grew up with gardens, and this is how we did it for a long time. And I'm gonna try and show you guys maybe an easier way where you're not always having to pick weeds and worry about grass and all kinds of stuff. Not to say those things won't happen, but they're gonna be a lot easier to handle. The first thing we're gonna do is we are going to clear the ground. Now, you don't have to clear it down to the dirt. You can leave the grass more or less there. You just want to get it down to maybe weed eating it down to as low as possible, because once we put on the dirt, if there's grass, then you want at least 6 inches of compost. If it's a clear dirt ground, you could probably get away with 4, maybe even 3 inches of compost covering the entire area. We're gonna line the whole fenced area with cardboard. You can use plastic too if you want to, but cardboard usually wastes away. And eventually we're going to put wood chips around the entire perimeter to kind of keep those grasses at bay. You always want to keep a border when you're doing no dig, because there won't be any weeds coming in necessarily in the middle, but they will come in from the side, especially the grasses, and try and overtake your garden. We're gonna get started. We're gonna clear the ground first. Make it as level as possible. Sometimes if things are mounded up from before, you kind of want to flatten them out a little bit. You don't have to worry too much about it, but you do want 6 inches of compost. And if you have a part of the ground that's up here and part of the ground that's down here, you're not going to be able to tell how much compost you have. We'll just get started and go from there. Okay, so we cleared the ground as much as we could. There were some mounds in it, some drip line, tangled in the weeds, weed barrier that we took all out because we don't need any of that. So we're actually gonna take cardboard and we're gonna lay cardboard, a really nice edge, along the entire fence line to give a good barrier that we will put wood chips all along as well on the inside and the outside of the fence. Then we're gonna start putting compost down. We didn't get it totally level. That's okay. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to be flat, and we're gonna put enough compost so that the weeds are basically gonna die underneath. So just a couple comments while they're laying down the cardboard. When we start putting down the compost, resist the urge to just dump it in and spread it out. You really want to pay attention to how deep you're getting it. There's a little bit of effort that goes into getting it done right. But it's all done up front, and then that way you don't have to worry about coming back later on and filling in the spots that maybe are too low. So you pay attention at the very beginning and you take your time, and it's well worth it in the end. We didn't have enough to go around yet, but we're going to start in the back corner over there so we won't have to worry about it. Hey, sweetie. So here's what it looks like right now, and we'll get that finished up once we get some more cardboard. This cardboard we just got from the local feed store. You can beg and borrow no matter what. Cardboard works good because it breaks down. Plastic is fine for temporary. I wouldn't do it year round. I try to, it's really nice and it does a good job, but then you got to worry about it later on. It does not decompose, and who knows what's going in the ground, maybe. We're here finishing up, sort of. Looks good. We have a border. We kind of got a little too close to the edge, tried to pull it back, and got some of the cardboard broken up over there in the corner over yonder. But yeah, it looks pretty good. We stamped it all down, put some dirt in that was actually in bags because we had bought those first and realized that we didn't have enough. We still have a lot to do. The grass has been covered. There was mostly dirt here. What the compost is gonna do is it's going to heat up and it's gonna kill anything that's underneath. Probably the only 2 things that are gonna be left coming through that we're gonna have to battle are any sort of bindweed. Here in California, we get a lot of morning glories, which can be really invasive and hard to get rid of. You have to be really persistent and pull them whenever they do come through. And the other thing is Bermuda grass. A lot of times when we're going through and just kind of hoeing the weeds, I just say leave the Bermuda grass and I come and I dig it out later on, because those are the two things that are probably going to be the worst. Until they're completely gone, they're always going to try and get in. And if you take care of them right away, then you don't have to worry about them anymore. Yeah, this is pretty much what you get, and we're gonna make up a plan for this garden and figure out where we're gonna plant everything. I like to just cover the entire thing with compost and then plant where you want to on flat ground. I know a lot of people like raised beds, and you could do that, except for I feel like if the grass does come in, it kind of comes up on the edge of the beds inside, and it's really, really hard to get rid of. So I like to do beds just on the floor, and then kind of decide where you want the beds during the year, and then once a year, I do it in January. You come back and you top it with compost, and then you can plant multiple things all year long, maybe 2 or 3 plantings, even 4. It depends on how short of a life, whatever you're planting. And yeah, so that's pretty much how you do a no-dig garden. People have asked me, does that mean you don't dig? We dig to plant plants that we've grown in seed cells. So yes, you're gonna dig in order to plant them. You're also gonna dig out any weeds that you see, so you are digging, but the idea of no dig is that you're not tilling the ground underneath and mixing it with the topsoil. You're just putting compost on top, which is going to create lots of microorganisms in the ground that are not going to be disturbed, and they're just going to be really healthy soil. So that's the idea, is you want the soil to continue to be healthy. The thicker it gets, the more moisture it will hold. It's just all around easier to deal with. So we will do a checkup later on once we decide the layout of the garden, and they actually have some seeds sown already and some plants growing through. Those will be planted within the next week as well, and we'll add that to the end of this video.